Recently, Warren Buffett sold half of his stake in Apple. Adam, what does that tell you?
Like it tells me very little. Timing is everything, right? I think that the issue and the reason it was even a big headline was, first of all, because it's Apple, which is of course a huge company and a company that everyone knows, but also that the disclosure happened to come out at the same time that there was significant market weakness. The market was already down, so Buffett selling half of his largest position spooked the market further, exacerbating the sell-off perhaps. But in reality, Berkshire still owns 80 something billion dollars worth of Apple. It's an investment that has gone up 10 times since Buffett started buying it, had become a significant portion of Berkshire's overall market cap. And Buffett, the genius that he appears to be quite often, looked at the valuation and said, now is a great time to trim Apple. And he still has a huge position. So I think it was really just the fact that the disclosure came out when the market was, in free fall, which is just pure coincidence.
Austin, what's your take?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because obviously this decision was made far before when the disclosure came out. And there's another sale in there in Bank of America. And if you wanted to draw a conclusion from that, you could say that Buffett sees, the market falling and he's raising cash. But it's actually really hard to understand what's going on. There could be any number of scenarios that he's working through. And you shouldn't necessarily just do what Warren Buffett does. For those that don't remember, he sold out of many airlines in 2020, missing the recovery when many people thought that he was obviously right. He was not right. And it should just remind everyone that nobody has a crystal ball, even if their name is Warren Buffett. So just mindlessly following them down any path that appears to be, that they appear to be following due to dated filings is probably not a great strategy.
Yeah, let's talk about Warren Buffett himself. So maybe the greatest investor of all time, probably in the top 10. He's 93 years old. At what point does the market say, okay, maybe Warren has started to age out of this?
Look, I don't think he's gone full Biden yet. You know what I mean? And, people have been talking about that. People have been asking that question about Buffett for 15 years. And, the real question is, if there is any cognitive issue at some point, does he recognize it? Because he doesn't necessarily, or does he? And he doesn't necessarily have Nancy Pelosi to whisper in his ear, "Time to step down, buddy." So look, it's something to watch for. But I don't think today, as of the last time I saw him speak publicly, he seemed very, very much with it, and as sort of savvy as he ever has been.
Yeah, investing is one of those things you don't really age out of. You tend to get better with time. Obviously, there's going to be some point in which, there is some degradation there. It'll be unclear whether, I don't think any of us are going to know whether he's there or not for many years past when it actually happens. It's kind of like the economic cycle. You don't know if you're in a recession until you're already deep into the recession. And therefore, I think it's just, it's speculation, right? Like in the late 90s, everyone thought that Buffett was far past his prime. It now appears as though he was just kind of hitting stride in his career as he's multiplied his net worth many times since then. So I think it's hard to speculate, and I would prefer to focus on things that, are maybe a little more relevant.
Look, I think the most amazing thing about Buffett, and to me why he's such a unicorn, is the passion that he has. I think there are very few people that accumulate the kind of wealth that he has and has had for decades that wouldn't have retired 20 years ago and be on a private island being fed grapes by former Hooters waitresses. This guy still wants to be an investor. To me, that's the most unique thing about him in his 90s.
He tried to retire like 50 years ago and didn't succeed. So I think, he just loves to do it. And that's one of the great things about watching him and following him is the passion's still there.
If we could all be so lucky to live that long and still be passionate about what we do.